Good afternoon, artists. Well, I am back to help you be creative. So, today, your creativity challenge is to draw things from outdoors. This is why I am with you today in my front yard, because we're going to draw some things that we find outdoors. It's a beautiful day, and it's a nice time to be outside. So we just want to continue to practice those things that we have been talking about in class, where you are drawing what you see. Not what you know, but what you see. Actually just looking at the object very closely and drawing what you see. So let's try that. I'm going to find things in my yard. I'm going to look at this rhododendron plant, this part down here. Maybe draw this guy right here. And as we do that, remember, you want to think about which leaf is the longest. How many leaves are there that you see? Just pick one part. Don't try to draw the whole plant. Just pick a part of it. Maybe even just focus on just drawing one leaf. And we're just going to do a line drawing and find those details. I think I'm going to do this whole shape here. I'm not worried about stuff around there. I just want to slowly draw the outside shape of those leaves so I can make some observations. I know there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. This is the longest leaf. Remember in class how we talked about angles? So if we use our pencil and we put it as a horizontal line, we can see these 2 leaves here are going pretty much horizontally. Look at the angles of these ones. How are they angling? What line do you see here? How does that line curve? So think of those things as you are drawing. All right, your turn to go outside and find something to draw. All right, well, I finished my drawing of the rhododendron flower in bud, and that looks pretty good. I'm gonna look at this rock now. I wanted to talk to you guys about, you might think a rock is kind of boring to draw, but think of it, remember when we did the cube and how the cube has faces or planes? The rock is no different. So if you were gonna draw something like this, think of it as a 3-dimensional shape. And here's the first plane. You can see it, it's sort of in a shadow. So think of it as just a shape. What shape is that? And draw that shape. And then the next plane is this side of the rock. And again, think of it as just a shape. And look at the angles of how those lines are moving. And then the top of the rock, remember, we don't want to draw it coming up. We want to draw it going back so that it looks flat. But again, think of it as just a plane. And what shape is it? And then draw it angling down or back. And then if you see that other side, which most likely you won't, because when we look at cubes, you usually only see 3 sides, but this rock is not necessarily a cube, so it has a little side edge over here that we see. But again, look at these angles. Think of each side of the rock as a plane, and it makes it a little easier to draw. So I got my rock drawn with just the lines. Now I want to talk to you guys about some shading. We haven't really talked about shading, but because it's a nice sunny day, you can definitely see shadows on this rock. And look at the cast shadow. That's the shadow the rock casts, the cast shadow here. And it's nice and dark because it's in some nice dark soil that is pretty moist still. So that would be the darkest shade right there, darkest value. And then the face of the rock here that is not facing the sun, that's going to be my next medium. That's going to be my medium value. And the little side of the rock over here, a little lighter medium, and then of course your lightest values. So I want to encourage you guys to try to get at least 3 values. All right, so now that we observed the shadows on our rock, I want you guys to get at least 3 values. 3 values. Value, remember, is the lightness or darkness of the color. So a really dark value, your darkest value, darkest dark, that's going to be the cast shadow we talked about. And then a medium value, which would be the front face of the rock. And then an even lighter value. And then the white of the paper is actually a 4th value. So technically we'll have 4 different values going from white to almost a black. Now I'm using a charcoal pencil, so it's getting me a nice rich dark value. But you can get a good dark value with even a black crayon just by, again, harder pressure, little bit lighter pressure to very light pressure. All right, so practice trying to get those different values, white counting as a value. So here's my darkest value here, and then the face of the rock is going to be my next value, this one here. And again, when you're doing values, remember to do your pencil lines all going in the same directions and trying to have the same amount of pressure. All right, I can't wait to see what you guys draw. Don't forget to post your photos in the comment section. All right, have a great time drawing, artists, and stay tuned for our next art challenge.